Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Jeannie Andreessen here. Today we are talking about our goals. Today we're talking about 2024 goals, and I am actually sharing with you how I set up to achieve my goals. And I will tell you that when I was first working on this live and when I was first creating the outline for it, I actually had the other angle happening. I was going to tell you how you can achieve your 2024 goals and make sure that they happen. And even as I was putting that together, I'm like, this to me isn't exactly the message I want to send. The message that I want to send, or what I want to do, is I want to give you ideas on things that you can do in your environment to be able to set yourself up for actually having your goals happen for you this year. So that is the angle that I'm taking, because it's to me less about like, here's what you have to do, and more here's what I do. Here are some ideas for you that you might like to be able to set your environment up for success. So anyways, that's what I'm going to be talking through today and sharing today. If what I share today is helpful, here's what I want you to do. One, I want you to like this video so that I know that. Not to like have you have anything to do with my technology problems, but LinkedIn, Instagram. I don't know why I kind of do that a lot. I somehow always swap those two platforms, but Instagram, right, for the last couple months has been glitching for me. And I no longer get any insights on my videos at all in terms of going live. So I don't know which videos anymore are the most watched or not watched at all. I don't know which ones you like the most. I don't know which ones are saved the most. And to me, that's really frustrating, because as a business owner, I want to know what stuff is the most helpful for you. So because insights are no longer working for me, because I no longer can see how many views I have on a live, and because I no longer can see how many people save my lives, what I would love for you to do, if you like this video and it actually is helpful for you, is to actually like the video. That comes through for me. So if you can do that, that would be amazing. Another thing that I want you to do, what I share with you today, if some of this stuff is helpful and I don't currently have some sort of download for it, I want you to tell me in the comments what of what I share with you you would want to have as something that you can download from me. Because I put this kind of stuff together for myself all the time. I don't know if it's something that you want too. I don't know if it's something that would be helpful for you too. It's kind of like when I create things for you, it's because I know that you want this. And with what I share today about what I am doing to set up for my goals, I create these things for me. So basically, if you think it would be helpful for you too, please let me know exactly what would be most helpful in the comments. That would be amazing. So if you're new to me, I am Jeannie Andreessen. I am a business coach for interior designers. I help interior designers build the confidence necessary in their design business, and I help them become more efficient and more profitable in their business. I help them do that through systems, processes, boundaries, all of the things. A lot of client communication. I talk a lot about client onboarding. All of that is very much in my wheelhouse. Today, though, we're talking about goal setting, and I will tell you, we're going to talk a little bit about goal setting. We're going to talk a lot about setting up to make sure that these goals happen. And I will tell you the reason why I wanted to take this angle is because it's a new year, right? This is my first live of the year. It's January 9th, 2024 today. And we have 356 days ahead of us, which is, I don't even know if I did that math right. I think so. Math is not my specialty. You have all those days ahead of you. I have all those days ahead of me. We have so much we can do this year and so much that can be accomplished. And I think that is such an exciting thing. I also know that it can be a little daunting to think about, oh my goodness, how do I plan for a whole year and make sure that by the end of the year, I'm not looking back and saying like, I should have been able to do more. I don't want that to take place for you. So that's a reason why we're talking about this today. Goal setting is obviously like the hottest thing to talk about. in the beginning of a new year, goal setting, and apparently the ins and outs list. Anybody else see like so many of those? I feel like in the last 10 days, what's in for 2024? What's out for 2024? And it's like, I don't know. Part of me was like, should I create one of these? And then I'm like, I'm a little over this at this point. So anyways, goal setting is a very hot thing for the new year. A very hot thing for the new year. And I will tell you, do you have to set goals for the new year? Absolutely not. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything if it doesn't feel right. If for you, just merely like showing up every day and surviving, if that's where life is for you right now, that is exactly what I want you to prioritize and what I want you to focus on. And I really mean that. However, if there's something calling within you that says, I want to make this an amazing year. I want this year to be different than the years before. I want to do something, I want to get out of my comfort zone this year. Then you may want to set some goals for the new year. So if you are joining me today, you likely have goals set for the new year and this kind of question about, is there anything else I could be doing to make sure that these goals are not forgotten about and that I actually go after them? And that answer is yes, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So step one, if we are really going to be kind of taking a step back and kind of doing this in order, step one is to know what your goal is. I know that may seem obvious to you already, and you may already have your goal set. But if you do not, I actually highly recommend going back to my live on December 19th. I think that was the last live I did before the holidays. But go back to my live on December 19th. I talk all about setting your 2024 goal and why it's so important that we have goals. And to be able to build a little bit of momentum and urgency for you to get into a place of setting a goal for the new year. So go back and watch that December 19th video where I talk about those things. So step one is having a goal set and knowing what your goal is. And I'm just going to touch on this briefly because obviously we're going to be talking more so about how to set up your environment and what I do to set up my environment to achieve these goals. But what you want to do is you want your goal to be measurable. If you do not currently have a measurable goal, I want you to take whatever goal you have and I want you to make it measurable. A lot of times we avoid making something measurable because we don't want to feel we've failed at something, or we don't want to feel in advance this crazy stress about how am I going to make this happen? What if I don't make this happen? And so we keep from making a goal measurable, but then we never really know if we hit a goal. So here's what I mean by that. If your goal for 2024 is to attract more desirable clients, how do you make that measurable? You define what that means. You define what that means for that specific one. We could do that in a couple of ways. One is, what is a desirable client to you? How much, how big is their budget? What is the scope of work that they're looking for? What is the timeline? Just kind of jot down what a desirable client is to you. And I would actually have you do that. So let's just say for you, a desirable client would be at least a $200,000 budget for 2 rooms in the house. Let's do something like that. 2 rooms, $200,000 budget. That's a desirable client. Perfect. So we just nailed what that is to you. Now I want you to make the attracting more measurable. And here's how I would tell you to do that. Go back to 2023, look at all of your inquiries, find out how many had a budget like that. And then I want you to kind of step into 2024 and I want you to put a number down for what more is. That is what I want you to do. Put a number down for what more is to you for 2024. So that should be based on statistics and a little bit of your gut. I actually learned that from Sunera Mudani, who is like the head of CEO school, and is a billionaire, woman in business. So she's actually, to me, I always base my goals on stats and gut, but I've always kind of wondered, like, is that even the right way to go about doing this? And so I recently took a course from her, and that is what she said, and I loved it. I love that she said like stats and gut. I'm like, God, I love that. So yes, look at last year. Let's say last year you attracted 10 of those, and then this year more would be 11. But could you attract more? Do we want that to be 12, 13, 14, 15? Define what that would be for you. So that is that's step number 1, is to have that measurable goal. And I always recommend having one big picture goal that you are going after. So sure, it could be that. I would have it tied to revenue if possible. So if last year you made 200K in your business and this year you want to make 300K, that would be your goal. And a part of the strategy would actually be, I know I'm like really geeking out on this stuff, but a part of the strategy would be to attract 15, 20, 30 desirable clients. That sounds like a lot of clients. Probably not that. So let's just say 7 desirable clients, whatever that is for you. That is what a strategy could be that would ladder up to that ultimate goal that you have. So if you have a measurable goal, you are now in the right place to continue working with me. I know, Danny, please not 30. Yeah, no, definitely not 30. That's just me getting really excited. And here's the other thing is my business is so different than your business. I mean, I can coach, eventually my goal is to be able to have 30 designers in business school for designers at one point. So at times I get a little bit too in my world, and I need to pull back and get back into your world. So, okay, for you, it might be 5 desirable clients, 10 desirable clients, but define what that is for you. Okay, next step is break it down. And I'm really walking you through this because this is going to help us get to step number 3, which is like all of the things that I do to set up to achieve my goals. So next step is to break it down. So take your one big goal, and I want you to break that. Oh my God, I was just looking for my phone to be able to do some calculations with you, and I'm staring at my phone. How funny. Okay, so I'm going to have you do this almost on your own, but let's say your goal is for your revenue to be, not profit, but revenue to be $300,000 in 2024. Okay, let's say that is your goal. Actually, let's make numbers easier. Let's say 100K is your goal in 2024. To me, that feels much easier for me to break down without a calculator. So 100K in revenue is your goal for 2024. You want to break that down by quarter and then by month. So what would that look like per quarter? 25K. What would that look like per month? I believe that's about 8K a month, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, you can tell me. But you want to break it down in that way. It's kind of one direction you can take this in. And another direction you can take this in is, again, kind of looking at by project or by season. And season also kind of falls within those quarters. Again, this goes back to like you knowing your own numbers, but upon looking at a few of my clients' numbers, we have identified that Q3 is the biggest quarter in terms of their revenue for most of the time. That doesn't happen every year, but out of a 10-year time span, I have noticed that they're probably 75% of that, probably 7 of those years, Q3 was the biggest quarter. So the only reason why that's helpful to know is not because you have to say that your 100K goal that you're going to achieve 50K in Q3. You still want to do whatever you can to achieve the 25K each quarter. But let's just say quarter 1 is statistically your lowest quarter. You're not going to get worked up if you make 20K in Q1 because you know you can make that up in Q2, Q3, Q4. Make sense? But I do like the idea of breaking it down by quarters because it allows you to have a bigger picture vision of your business and not get so caught up in the weeds of the day to day. So I do think also breaking it up by month is helpful, but I think quarterly for designers is more helpful than by month. Now, if you want some ideas on what you can track month to month, here are two. This is what I've set up for my other clients. I do planning days with my private clients, so I'm just kind of throwing that out there. So I do planning days at the end of the year with my private clients, and here are the two things we kind of look at if we're tracking month to month. It's not design fee. We track more so on furnishings and client billables. So that is our way of looking at being able to track something on a monthly basis and not be too hard on ourselves if it's not, what we thought it was going to be. But to us, furnishings as well as billables are kind of the most fun to track on a monthly basis. Billables are fun because that's your productivity. If you want a fun exercise, and I'm really not trying to overwhelm you, please let me know if I am. But if you want a fun exercise, find out how many billable hours you build in 2023, and then break that down by month, and then break that down by week. And that will be very enlightening for you to be able to identify how productive that you are and can be from like week to week. I mean, sometimes you look at this and we have 40 hours, let's say a week, or let's say 35 hours in a normal work week if we're taking some lunches. And then we realize, oh my goodness, we only build 10 hours a week on average. What are we doing with that other time, and how can we be more productive to be spending time on billables? Okay, so now that we have broken it down, again, let's focus on by quarter. So let's say 25 per quarter is what we're going after. Now I want to walk you through how I set up my environment to make these things happen. And before I walk you through these things, I want you to know one thing that is crucial is for you to have your goal top of mind daily. I am going to say daily. You want to have this goal top of mind daily. You don't want to be so focused on it that you have like debilitating anxiety daily. You want to be able to pull yourself out and be able to look at the whole year to be able to say, okay, we have a runway. And so you're not stressed out daily, but daily you should be very much aware of what your actions are laddering up to. So the goal is to keep this in front of you and to keep your energy high about what you are going to achieve. So here are the ways that I go about doing this. Step one, first thing I do is I add to my calendar every morning. I have a slot on my calendar that's called belief time. And that belief time, if you double click into that, is linked to a Google Doc that I've created that essentially has me believing big about achieving my goals. So I'm going to show you what this looks like because I printed this out for you. I know that this is like, what in the world am I showing you? And I'm intentionally kind of not zooming in for you. But here, let me walk you through what this looks like. So right up here, it says, read the below, see it and feel it. And what is the below? It's me saying, I see myself attracting my goal by December 31st, 2024 by being a coach and business mentor to interior designers and serving them to the fullest. And that is what I have written here, is this vision of what I'm here to do, what I'm achieving. I actually think it would be fun. I'm like, this is like a free, I almost want to say like, not even a challenge that I could offer, but kind of a fun thing I could offer as like a free session of everybody hops on and I walk you through how to create a vision like this. If that's something you'd be excited about, please let me know in the comments or DM me. That would be really helpful for me to know. But this whole thing is a vision around the goal that I have and what I am most excited about in terms of achieving that. And what this does is it gets me feeling very excited about what I have to offer the world and like how this goal is going to benefit others and benefit the world, if that makes sense. So that's like the first thing that's up here is read this, see it, feel it. What I also have up here is to strengthen my money muscles. And this is something that I do work on in business school, is helping my clients just become greater manifestors and believe bigger about what's possible and what they deserve and what's coming their way. But what I have on here are some bullet points of actual pages in books I've read that have made me feel amazing. So for example, if anybody has the book You Are a Badass, love that book. The couple pages that I have on here are pages 96 to 98 and page 118. Off the top of my head, couldn't even tell you what those are. I did just read them the other day though. But I know that when I read those pages, I felt powerful, influential. I felt like I wanted to go after my goals. I wanted to just get out there and market my business. And so I want you, if this is something that would be helpful for you and this is something you want to create for yourself, let's say, what books have been most helpful for you? And what pages in those books made you feel like you want to get out there into the world and create an amazing business? And if so, jot down, create something like this, jot down what pages those are. So all I have to do in the morning, I probably spend 15 minutes on this. I read through this and I open, let's say You Are a Badass, which of course is sitting right here on my desk. I didn't even plan that, but I just opened it and it opened to page 96. I'm sorry, that is insane. So anyways, and that's all you have to do is to be able to say, oh, okay, page 96 made me feel great. I'm going to pull up page 96 and I'm going to read these 2 pages. And it just like allows you to get into the energy of you're amazing, you're a badass, and you're going to hit your goals this year. So, okay, so that's step 1 of something that I do. Is I have that time on my calendar every morning. Before you ask, I will tell you, no, I don't always get to it every morning. That is not the point. The point is that it's on there and I get to it most mornings. That's the point. I get to it most mornings. I'm not hard on myself if I don't get to it, but probably 3 out of the 5 mornings a week, I am reading this, I'm opening a book, and it puts me in the place of, oh my goodness, I want to get in front of my ideal clients and I want to help them with their business. So that's step 1. Step 2, I have my priorities in one place for the year. So let me actually rephrase that. In one place, and I have this printed too. So in my planning day that I do every year, and if you haven't downloaded my planning day resource, you're going to want to, I can send that to you. Just comment planning and I will send it to you if you don't have it already. But every year I want to run a planning day for myself. A part of that, I say, what are my priorities for 2024 and how do I not forget about those? I create something like this. So I write 2024 priorities. This is in Canva. I can even send you this template if this would be helpful. Just drop it in the comments and I will be able to get that to you. So I write 2024 priorities and all this is are like check boxes. That's what this is. Check boxes with something written next to it. A lot of my priorities this year are actually, I don't know, it's a little bit of learning new skills. So right now I'm learning, how to build an email list. Another thing I want to do is start automating emails. I want to start automating a lot of the emails that I send in business school. I currently manually send those. It's a little embarrassing to even admit that because automating is not that hard anymore. I feel like this technology is so available to us, but it's just the learning and how to make sure that we make time for it. So that is something that's on here. Starting to repurpose my lives into blog posts again. I've totally dropped blogging. If you are an OG follower of mine, you will know that blogging was such a priority for me years ago. and I have dropped it. But I just want to start getting some of these videos back onto my website with just some notes underneath of, what's covered in the videos. And there are a few other things that are on here, but I take the things that really are priority to me that I am saying at the end of 2023 would make a big difference in 2024, and I am putting them in one place. And so I create something like this. I have check boxes next to it. I get rid of all the white spaces around it. And what do? I pin that to my corkboard. It is not in the main spot on my corkboard because it's not something that I really need. It's not what I need to see daily. It's what I need to constantly kind of cross check. So it's on like the side of my corkboard. And that's for people who have corkboards. I mean, for me, I face a wall, so it works for me, but I can't wait to have, what do you guys call it? A freestanding desk or something that's like in the middle of an office and there is no corkboard. What am I going to do then? I don't know. I'll figure it out and I'll do another live at that time. But for now, I have this great corkboard. Okay, so that is number 2, is I take my priorities and I put them on my corkboard. Number 3, ready for this next one? I know, you probably think I'm nuts. I have to laugh because I don't think I'm nuts, but this is why I do what I do and I help you do these things too. So, quarterly, I have one piece of paper that I update with my main goal, what is on here? My main goals for the year, my quarterly goals, and then priorities that I need to accomplish to achieve my quarterly goals. So this is what it looks like. Of course, I want to show you this empty so you can get a sense. But so I put my 2024 goals here. Here, I put my quarterly goals. And then here are my priorities and strategies to achieve my quarterly goals. This is something I print out each quarter. I hope that makes sense. This is something I print out each quarter. To walk you through this a little bit more, this never changes. This one box never changes. These 2 boxes change. This is based on what are my goals for the quarter? How am I going to achieve those goals this quarter? Priorities is essentially strategies, but I like to think priorities because it just gets me in the right headspace. This is my main spot on my corkboard. Boop. It goes right there. I know that's not helpful. I would really show. I'm like, you can't see what I'm doing, but it goes right there, right in the middle of my corkboard. I'm able to see it every day. Okay. 2 additional things I do. These are fun ones. One thing that I do is I like to update my passwords to match my goals. Yep. I update my passwords to match my goals. So if your goal was 5 300K budget clients, your password may be 5 300K 2024. And then whatever objects, what are they called? Whatever characters you also need to add on there. But I know that sounds like a little bit of a pain in the ass. And is that totally necessary? God, no, none of this is necessary. But sometimes it's nice to update our passwords anyways. And it's just another reminder pretty frequently of what you want to accomplish in the year. So update your passwords to match your goals. And sure, half the time it's just like my fingertip that's, allowing me into my computer. But my Gmail and my Mac are usually kind of the 2 passwords that I'll update because those are the ones that I use most frequently to match my goals. So that's another little side thing that I do. Very small thing, but it's all mental, we want to make sure we keep these in front of us. And then the last thing that I do is I share my goals. I don't share them with the entire world, and I don't think you need to too. But my husband knows what my goal is for the year, And my financial advisor knows what my goal is for the year. And my accountant. Let's throw that in there too. My financial advisor and my accountant are different people, but they know. And I'm encouraging you to share your goals with somebody. And I hope that you have somebody that is in your life that you feel comfortable enough with to be able to share your goals with. If it's not, I hope if it's not your spouse, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your mom or your dad, but truly, it's so nice to be able to speak freely about what I want to accomplish with somebody who supports me in the big dreams that I have. And I'm going to kind of lean on, like, if you do not have somebody like that in your life, it might not be a great thing to share your goals. I will say, like, I hope I'm that person in your life, and you are always welcome to DM me and share your goals with me. Truly, whether you're a client or not, feel free to DM me and let me know what you want to accomplish this year, to just feel like you have this goal out there and you've told somebody. Because when we keep it inside, it just doesn't feel as good. But also, when you aren't telling the wrong person, it also doesn't feel as good. Like, it's so sad how many people there are in the world who do not believe big, who believe very small, who are very negative, and who unfortunately just haven't really created the life that they want to create for themselves. Those people are not the right people to share your goals with. They are the right people to share what you accomplish with, because maybe it'll inspire them, maybe. But you want to find somebody who is an encourager to be able to share your goals with. And that is the last thing that I do, is I make sure that I am sharing my goals with the right parties. You guys, I hope this was helpful. Those are my main things that I do. Actually, I'm going to just do I show this one additional thing? Just to kind of round out what's on my cork board. This is something else that's on my cork board. This is something that I create. Actually, if you saw my reel last week, where you saw me like on the dry erase calendar, this is what I was doing, and then I take it and I put it into an actual like small calendar view. But this is something else I do. This is my at a glance, what my programs are going to look like this year, and kind of like when I'm launching and when my new programs are starting. So I have this in front of me also. I printed it out, and I kind of knew that I wasn't fully going to explain it because I don't think it's fully necessary. But let me just share with you what this does for me. Is it at a glance allows me to see, okay, like I am launching my next round of business school at the end of February, early March is when I'll be marketing it, and that group will likely start on April 1st. And so it allows me to be able to like see that at a glance. And so that's kind of what I have up there for the year. If that wasn't helpful, and it probably wasn't, don't even pay attention to that. Okay, everyone, you just learned how I set myself up to achieve my goals for the year. And I will tell you that this method that I do has never hurt me. It's not like 10 out of 10 times I've achieved my goals for the year. I hope so. You all, if you are not new here, you know I've had some challenging years. And I'm sharing that to be very transparent and vulnerable with you, that yeah, I did a lot of this in early 2023. And I achieved a couple quarters of goals, and actually I think the only quarter of goal I achieved was like Q1, and then after that a lot went to shit. And that happens. That's just life happening. And I shared kind of also recently that I don't regret, I don't regret setting goals last year, because it did allow me to be very focused on the days that I was able to work and be focused. And I share that to say, listen, setting goals and be able to break it down like this, it never hurts. It doesn't. All it does is it helps keep you inspired, energized, heading in one direction, and has you start thinking about how you can make this happen and live in the energy of that this is going to happen for you. That is what this will do for you. And that is what I want this to do for you as I share with you how I set up to achieve my goals. So, if this was helpful and if you are still with me, please throw this a like. That would be very helpful for me to know that you watched it and you liked it. Also, if anything I shared, if any of these papers that I held up would be helpful for you to have to be able to use as a template, please comment which ones. Just write, priority check boxes, quarterly, quarterly planning. Like, what else do I have here? My little mantra sheet, anything like that, please let me know. If you have not yet downloaded my planning day resource and held a planning day for yourself to be able to review what you did in 2023 and be able to set goals for 2024, head to the link in my bio or comment planning and I will get that over to you. I also want to know, what do you do in your business to help you set up and achieve your 2024 goals or your goals on an annual basis? Let me know what works for you. Please drop that in the comments because I love this stuff, as you can tell, and I would love to learn ideas that I have not heard before. So please let me know. Thank you for hanging with me. I am very excited for you. If this is something that you watched and was helpful, I am very excited for you. I hope that you have some goals that are set in place and that you're excited to achieve in the new year. And I hope I gave you some tips on what you can do to make sure that you hit those this year. Until next time, I'll see you next week. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you later. Thanks, friends.